see the eventual draft on your screen at the moment. We have the Gragas, Kaisa, Malphite, the Alistair, and Graves, as I look at that interesting skin. And then on the opposing side, we're taking a look at what looks to be Wukong, Olaf, Lulu, Kennen. I'm trying to figure out what Golden Feet is on. What is Golden Feet on?
Sea Serpent. Right. On Jing?
Yeah, I was just confused by the skin for a second. My bad. Anyway, carry on.
All right, we actually have a lane swap here. It looks like Sea Serpent have initiated a lane swap. They have put the Jin and Lulu in the side lane. They do not want to go into the 2v2, it seems like, versus the Kaiser and the Alistair. Although they are now going to back. They're going to push that first wave in and back. I need to understand why teams do this. They're swapping back again. Why do teams do this? Is it to avoid a level 2 all-in from like the Alistair or something? This is what I'm trying to figure out. Why make the lane swap, push the first wave in, then just back?
Yeah, it seems like a mystery to me. They could have potentially been scared of the opposing team doing the same thing.
Or yeah, I guess they were predicting a lane swap from the opposing team, maybe. But
that seems strange to me as well.
That's the only thing I can think would be the case. It just seems odd that if you initiate a lane swap, I guess it's like you have to predict, but I would never do that without vision, right? You can always go and like try and get some information about where the enemy team is positioned in the jungle if you're trying to get some level 1 vision. But my thought process is I guess that they expected Killer Gaming to make a lane swap happen. I suppose they didn't want the maybe they didn't want to see. Oh, I guess it's because the Olaf Malphite matchup's so bad for Malphite. So they were like, oh, we're expecting the Malphite to swap to the other lane because it's such a bad matchup for the Malphite. That must be the reason because the Olaf Malphite matchup is terrible for Malphite.
So they were like, they're starting with the rock and they're expecting the paper, so they went with the scissors. But then it looks like Killer Gaming just went with rock anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It's just those early levels are so punishing for Olaf because obviously like post 5 even then like the Olaf can just ult through Malphite's ult and so Malphite will only do the damage, you won't get the knockup, and also like Olaf will just do true damage to Malphite with his reckless swings. So it is a rough matchup if played out like in the normal way. It's a rough matchup for the Malphite.
Yeah, well, it looks like Malphite was getting pretty aggressive over in that lane here. Nearly taking out the Olaf. Actually, ults onto him, but takes too much damage from the tower and has to step away in the end here. Looks like I have ult coming out from the Jin. They're able to take out the Alistair and the Kaisa as well. So very well done here from Sea Serpents in this early part of the game.
Yeah, really, really beautifully played as well. They just dominated that side lane matchup thus far. We've had to see the Gragas now rotate over to catch this wave, but that was a super dominant tower dive very early on, well executed by the Wukong, Lulu, and the Jin here. Something that you can definitely do post level 5. Jin, it wants misfortunes off the cards. I consider Jin to be one of the strongest AD carries in the meta, and you can be very lane dominant, especially with the Lulu. You can be super poke heavy as well. Alistair really can't do anything about it. The thing is that Lulu is like a direct counter. Wait a second, I think Kennen got a catch onto the Kennen got a catch. He's just dead.
All right, so it looks like the Graves does fall there. Which perspective are we on now? It looks like we're taking a look at Take once more here. And yeah, unfortunately, I got a little bit baited by Take's perspective. I switched over, and then at that exact moment, it was a bit of a gank on the Dragon side lane. But yeah, again, like I mentioned, taking a look at Take. And he's just kind of going about his merry business. As I mentioned before, he almost took out the Olaf despite the bad matchup that you mentioned earlier. Going to go ahead and freeze the wave here at the moment. I'm going to personally go ahead and take a look at the other side of the map here as Golden Feet and Lulu in tow. We're going to go ahead and continue to push this out. Not a whole lot of vision onto the Drake quite yet, other than the Rift Sculler. Not sure what the side of Killer Gaming sees, but yeah, they don't really have vision there either. So this is kind of a problematic situation potentially for them.
honestly, the team fight from Sea Serpents is pretty nasty. Like you've got the Wukong into Kennen, so you've got the plenty of team-wide CC, and then you have the damage of the Jin and the Olaf to follow up. It's a pretty scary looking team fight composition. So this first dragon, especially if Kennen has his ultimate available for it, it's going to be pretty spicy. But you can see that Sea Serpents are trying to avoid fighting right now because they know that they need to have that Kennen ultimate available, because that's going to be the sort of the deal breaker when it comes to this team fight situation.
Is Taka getting some lag right now? He's just kind of standing there. I mean, he backed now, but for a moment, okay, it looks like he's back into the game. Very, very strange. Just sitting there. Maybe he's just talking to his team. In the case, he's going to go ahead and get back into lane. I too am looking at this side of the Sea Serpents and seeing a potentially dangerous team fight, for their opponents, obviously. And I don't really know like what Killer Gaming is supposed to do about it other than just take it.
Well, interestingly enough, Malphite has gone for Liandry's Torment, so he's playing AP Malphite. Now, I think, unfortunately, they're going to be a little bit too late to this dragon fight. Kennen has the ultimate available, so you don't really want to fight that. You're just going to give that one up. And obviously, Take didn't even make the move down, so he's very well aware that this is just not going to be a fight that they're taking right now. But
yeah,
I think,
go ahead.
No, carry on, D2, carry
on. They had the Riftscolor vision, but unfortunately for them, Sea Serpent just took that easy peasy. They just walked up and said, "We don't care if you see. We're just going to take it. Doesn't matter." And so they do get the Drake to their name to add to that 3-1 lead. Looks like we have a bit of a skirmish over in that mid lane here. Trying to see what's going on. We have the Kennen getting pretty low. Lulu trying to help out. Wukong very, very deep. He's falling low as well. They're able to get the kill onto the Gragas and the Alistar. So looks like a job well done. They're going to try to pop this GA onto this Kaisa. The wild growth goes on to just try to finish things off. Looks like they're going to try to finish her off after this GA as well. She's going to jump onto the Lulu, but not enough. Too little, too late. And that is a GA and a kill. We are 6-1. Sea Serpent's looking good. Oh, never mind. Hold on thought for a moment. Sorry, hold on thought for a moment here. Looks like the rotation comes out from Killer Gaming in the end. Can they get the kill onto this Jin? Can't even pop the GA. That is a feels bad man moment. Oof.
Yeah, I have to really rate the Graves, unfortunately. Like I think he's just a worse version of Shyvana that does less damage and provides less to the team. So I'm not entirely convinced by the Graves pick coming out from Sea Serpents. That's from Killer Gaming here, and actually Sea Serpents just you could see how much that disconnect affected them in the first game. Like they are now absolutely dominant once they're playing on that level playing ground, and it honestly Killer Gaming look a little lost. They look a little bit split across the map versus the Kennen. They are struggling to have an impact in these team fights. Interestingly enough, actually the more that I've seen, the more Kennen mid I've seen. Like Kennen mid has been I talked about when Kennen first got released. I kind of said in a video, I was like, I was expecting to see more Kennen mid. But most people say, well, his wave clear is really bad, and I kind of agree with that. But what you're seeing here is that, yes, Kennen mid's still strong. Like, his ability to rotate with his ultimate is really impactful, and his ultimate is so strong. That's why we're seeing teams pick up that Kennen mid more often. So, I mean, you can see Sea Serpents making great use out of that particular pick right now.
Unfortunately, they have a pretty botched gank, though. They go for a 4-man gank over in that bottom lane there, and they actually pop both Wukong's ult and the ult of Lulu. Get nothing out of it. Malphite gets out scot-free. I mean, they picked up the turret, but yeah, Malphite, right? But this is, I'm talking about after Malphite gave it up. This is after Malphite gave it up. They went hard onto him, didn't get anything. So, I mean, they're still far ahead, but could be a bit cleaner, I suppose.
Yeah, I think the play was definitely okay. Malphite flushed. Let's just go and let's just take the turret now. Like Malphite flashed. Let's just take the turret. I understand the want to try and go for the kill. It would have got you a little bit extra gold, but those like Lulu's ultimate cooldown is really low, and Wukong's is relatively low as well. So it's not like you burn a huge amount for it. But I agree. Like I think in that situation, just say okay. Well, Malphite probably still has his ultimate as well. So let's just say cool. Take the turret, rotate, and get somewhere else on the map as quickly as possible.
Yeah, just selective use of ults, right? The ones that have a low cooldown there, they're like, you might as well. It's just trying to scare the Malphite off, right? Make yourself look big, put wild growth on him. In any case, it looks like the Rift Herald, I believe, is coming up soon. Is that the timer that we're looking at? Or am I mistaken? I forgot what lane we're supposed to be.
I'm having a look at, again, it feels much later. No, that's the Baron, because we're coming up to 10 minutes. So that's the Baron that'll be spawning relatively soon. Rift Herald, I think, has already been taken, or at least it has disappeared off the map.
Oh yeah, I think they actually still have it. I think they haven't released it. Oh wait, but this is the Drake. Okay, we're just confused, guys. Anyway,
the Baron is coming up relatively soon. It comes up in 10 minutes. So.
Right. And there's a Rift Herald. All the questions have been answered. Baron is on the timer. We have the Infernal Drake started. It does get leashed though. Big ult comes out from the cannon. He's in the back side of the line there, but we have the Jhin trying to get some damage in. He is able to scare the Alistar off to fall on the side of Killer Gaming to the only one here. To make that 3-for-1 as Jhin is chasing down this Alistar, does get the kill, gets the GA on the last member of Killer Gaming, and this is going to be an ace. 5-4-1, and Sea Serpents are just absolutely dominant. They're going to take their dragon on the way out.
Yeah, this game's pretty much over, I'm afraid. I don't like to call games super early. I think there is always comeback mechanics available, but I just feel like the right now Sea Serpents are just way too dominant at this stage of the game. It would require a monumental failing on Sea Serpents' part to lose this game from this point onwards. Like Kennen Ultimate was so impactful as well. Like huge Kennen Ultimates kind of stopped the Malphite from kind of getting into a spot for a good ultimate, and you can see the team fight's just not coming together right now. Like again, as I said, I don't think the Graves is a particularly strong pick right at this point in time in the meta, and he hasn't really had the impact that the Wukong has had. They're setting up for Baron now as well. That's going to be the next objective that is on the cards, and you can see they're going to go straight for it. Take does have the teleport, so he could teleport to the fight, but that's if Killer Gaming even want to contest it, which it looks like they don't.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Take's perspective, he has no vision on it at all, and the Baron just gets taken pretty easily. The ult comes out here from Jhin. I'm taking a look at Sea Serpent's perspective. Sorry, guys at home. And yeah, just so much damage coming out. The Malphite falls. Olaf is perfectly fine, not even that low. He can't even feel a thing. They're pushing onto this turret. They have the Baron buff. Turret goes down. Are they going to go ahead and push on this inhibitor turret? Looks like they're going to back off, which is kind of surprising to me. Playing this very, very safe. They are getting pushed in their mid lane, but what's the UX? I feel like they could just push that in.
Yeah, it's difficult to say. Like at this point in time, it's just they could do anything they want. Honestly, like any move that Sea Serpents make is going to be fine because they're just that far ahead in gold right now. Like, so there are things they could do better, but they could literally run it down mid, probably dive 2 towers and still end up winning these team fights.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to do something resembling that. We do see Lulu and Jhin trying to make something happen here. Unfortunately, the wave clear is pretty decent between the members of Killer Gaming here, particularly the Gragas. So decent defense coming up from Killer Gaming. You can see on your mini map there that Olaf is doing a decent job pushing over in the top lane. He's going to get met by Graves here. We have Jhin coming in, but there is all the ults coming out in droves as Wukong jumps on them, and it is supported by the Lulu as well as the Kennen, and 3 members fall. This is the moment that they were waiting for, and now they are making their turn to push on the Nexus here. The Alistar tries to jump in, but he doesn't have the follow-up damage necessary for himself. The Jhin gets kind of low, but it doesn't matter in the end because the Nexus falls, and that is a beautiful comeback from Sea Serpents. Down 0-1, they take it 2-1 in this best of 3.